Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for joining the live stream. For those of you who are watching the live stream, and thank you very much for watching the recordings. For those of you who are watching the recordings, today's topic will be about something you ask me a lot about, and it's also one of the most important topics. And that's about the documents you are submitting for any type of Czech visa or a residence permit application, and what conditions they need to meet if you want them to be accepted. Okay, so there are many rules, obviously, but there are three main rules that apply to any documents you submit to the Ministry of the Interior or to the Czech embassy when you're submitting your visa application or your residence permit application. I will go through the rules, like I tell you all of them, and then I will go through them in details. So all documents must be originals or notarized copies. All documents must be in Czech or officially translated into Czech. And all documents, or none of the documents actually, can be older than 180 days. And now a bit of the details. So all of the documents you submit must be originals. So often people ask me, hey, or us in Move to Prague generally, hey, my bank can only provide this via PDF, or they can email me this document, or my landlord is out of time and he emailed me this document. Can it work? No. All the documents you submit to the ministry must be originals. So like physical documents with stamp and signatures, wet signatures, wet stamps. So no copies, no scans, nothing like that will work. In theory, what could work is like electronically signed document or a document which you send using your data box. But first of all, basically none of you have data box. And second, even electronically signed documents are not really like reliable in the Czech Republic. Not from the perspective that the electronic signatures would not be reliable, but that the ministry does not really. It's not easy to work with that and with the Czech government. So the best thing you can do is to have all the documents like in a physical form with stamps, signatures, and that used for your visa applications. Or if you cannot, or if you don't want to use the original document, which, for example, because whatever you give to the Ministry of the Interior for your applications or embassy for your applications, you will never get back. Okay, so for example, with documents like your diploma, marriage certificate, birth certificate, you don't want to lose these documents. So in that case, you don't want to give the originals. So in that case, go to a notary, Czech notary ideally, and get the document, get a notarized copy, an official copy of the document, and get it. You use the copy instead of the original. So I actually remembered one more rule I will talk about, and that is that all the documents you submit, if they are not Czech documents, they must be super legalized or apostille, but I will get to it in a second. So that was rule number one, that all the documents must be originals or notarized copies. Rule number two is that all the documents must be in Czech or officially translated into Czech. So that's also a very common question. Hey, I have my bank letter. Does it have to be in Czech? Yes. There are some exceptions. For example, if you've already been to the embassy like one time, two times, and you're submitting some additional documents, in some cases, the ministry can tell you, or the embassy can tell you, hey, you don't need this getting translated. You can use it in English or whatever language it is. But in most cases, or generally speaking, all the documents you submit must be either in Czech already. So, for example, the proof of accommodation you'll be getting is in Czech in most cases, or they must be officially translated into Czech. So, if you, for example, have your marriage certificate and you want to use it, first, it must be original or notarized copy. Second, must be officially translated into Czech. Rule number three, none of the documents can be older than 180 days. Older than 180 days. That means, of course, it doesn't apply, for example, to your passport or marriage certificate or birth certificates. Those can be obviously older because you cannot simply get a new one. So the originals can be older, but all the other documents like proof of accommodation, photos officially as well, confirmation of studies or your employment contract, lease agreement, like all these documents, they should not be older than 180 days. So for example, if you're extending your stay, if you're applying for extension and you want to use your employment contract, which you got like 2 years ago when you applied for the first employee card, for example, or even a year ago, then it will not be enough because it's more than 180 days old. And the point of that is that if you sign the employment contract or a lease agreement or whatever 180 days ago, it doesn't have to be valid anymore, because even though the contract might be for a year, you always have some leave-in period, leave-in notice, and you can end the contract earlier. So the ministry has no way of checking if the 1-year lease agreement is still valid, or if you left the apartment, or if the landlord kicked you out. So that's why they need something fresher. So in case of these documents, for example, employment contract, lease agreement, in that case, you would need to use the original document plus something confirming that the document is still valid. So for example, a lease agreement or employment contract of 2 years old, and then some confirmation from your HR saying, we confirm that this person still works for us. So the original document was older than 180 days old, but you still have something fresher which confirms that the document is still good. So that was rule number 3. And rule number 4 is that all the documents you submit, if they are not Czech documents, then if they were issued outside of the Czech Republic, so for example, your marriage certificate is Indian or American or Canadian, whatever, even German, then the documents must be apostilled or super legalized first. That's kind of like a higher verification of documents, which says that, okay, we confirm that this document is genuine document and it can be used outside of the state of issue. So for example, if you have either United States marriage certificate or Indian marriage certificate, and you want to use it in the Czech Republic, you will need to take the marriage certificate to a special authority. They will put like a special sticker on it. It's called apostille. And only with this document, with this sticker, the apostille sticker, you can use the original marriage certificate abroad, in the Czech Republic in this case. Without this verification, the document will not be valid. In some cases, for example, Canada or most African countries, some Asian countries as well, those who didn't sign the agreement about the apostille, then there is something called super legalization, which is one step more complicated. And again, without going through this process, you cannot use the document internationally. I did another video just about this topic, like super legalization, translations, and nostrification of diplomas as well, and super legalizations and apostilles. So just go to my YouTube and find the video, the detailed video if you're interested in that. But these are the main rules. So actually, 4 rules or 4 criteria, the documents you're using for your visa application or residence permit application, that must be met if you want the application to be successful. And that's number 1, you can only use originals or notarized copies of documents, not simple copies, no like PDFs or anything like that. And second, all the documents must be in Czech or officially translated into Czech. Number 3, none of the documents can be older than 180 days. And number 4, the documents which were issued outside of the Czech Republic must be apostilled or super legalized first if you want to use them. So that was it. And as you know from the last couple live streams, I will be doing a live stream Q&As on my TikTok. So if you have some questions, please don't ask here, but come to my TikTok, Jan_Kalina, and I will be doing live Q&As right now. So follow me on TikTok and see you there in 1 minute. Thank you. Good night, guys. Bye bye.